Alright, I'm way too drunk to be doing this, but I'm gonna try to get a video out. It's been like 7 months since I had one. So today I wanted to talk about sculpting a little bit. I wanted to explain how you can make facial expressions a little bit easier without as much issue. If you understand what I mean by once in a while when you're sculpting faces, you might have um, you might have issues with like the eyes or the lips or whatever, and I'll try to straighten that out for you guys and make it a little bit easier. Anyway, so there's a few things you're gonna want to do is reset your character to the 0 position. I use the hotkey, but if you can't find that, it's over here. When you click on your rig, you get a little running guy here. In this menu, rest position is what you want to click on. Just make sure they're not like... Sorry, I'm trying not to throw up. Alright, I'm good. Just make sure you're not clicking post position. So when they're in that rest pose, you can start sculpting your character. There's probably ways around that. I mean, I've just had so many issues. Unless I put 0 them out before I start sculpting, so I always do that. So I'm going to call this whatever as an example. And when you start sculpting, I like to be in wireframe mode. You can always toggle it off if you want to see what your character looks like, but it's really handy to see where your polygons are being shifted around, and it helps you identify issues quicker. Now, if you want to open a mouth, the quickest way to do that would be to use smoothing. So like if you look at her lips here, if I want to open that up, you can see smoothing is the simplest method. Now, if the teeth were part of the same mesh, that would cause all kinds of issues, right? But don't worry, I'll show you what you can do to solve that. So as an example, if I want to do something with her chin, like move her head up, maybe take this and scrunch it up, and then I'm gonna pull this out a bit, because that'll be funny. Like make it like she's like gritting her teeth or something, like she's like mad. And then make these go down so she's like angry. Something like that. I'm just hitting with the draw brush. Now, when you want to start removing these, there's a couple ways you could do this. Any issues you have, you could of course smooth them out, but smoothing ain't always the best option. You could always go into edit mode, and you could choose parts of your mesh. Like if I were to choose this area, say like that, and then I say blend from shape, you can see that you could remove it. See? You can unadd it, or you can add it back in. It even mirrors it, which is pretty cool. You can even control how much, but I don't recommend that. You can go past 2. You can push it like further or the opposite way. I mean, it's super fun to play with, but don't do that, because there's a better method. I do that for like quick little edits, but if I really want it to look good, I would come in here and call this control, and I reuse this group and delete it, and I don't remove the group, but I delete the weights and re-add them over and over, because I'm constantly needing something like this to work on my facial expressions. I will get you later, whoever's DMing me in Discord. I am busy right now. So, say you want to control that, you can control that pretty easy. So when you're sculpting, you'll see nothing happens because we added that group on. You see the control group keeps it from showing it. Now if you go, I got an error. What kind of error? Type error. That's fine. That's not really a real issue. So you want to paint that and go into weight paint mode, and you can always hit X up here. I don't have X symmetry on this window because this was made in an older version of Blender. I must go ahead and pop a new window out, and then I can get it. I don't know why that happens. Anybody knows how to fix that, tell me, because I believe that's a bug. And that's a bug in every version of Blender as far as I know. I've never had, like, I'm on 5.1 and it still does that shit. So when you're in this mode, if you want to start adding it in, you could use the red paint to add it back in, and then you can use shift to smooth it. You could use control to remove it. So if I wanted to, like, it looks like the mirror's fucked up, I gotta snap to symmetry the face to fix that. I'll show you guys that after. So sometimes it can be really fun to add stuff in like this. Like that way you can control like one side of the face or the other. you can see it's pretty easy to sort this out. You just fucking remove, add, smooth. It's just like weight painting. If you're big on weight painting, this is a lot more convenient. Areas like this where it's all overlapping like that, you would have to go into sculpt mode and smooth it. There's limitations to it. Like you see, it's not really going to get that. Not unless I add it in. Or remove it, I think. Yeah, removing it seems like the way to go. But you get the idea. You can go in and shift things around, make it much simpler to give you smoother faces. Now if I were to remove that grip, you see what I mean by you get more control over that. And that's how the cheek puff was done. Make it all blow up and shit. Now if you're doing chesticles, now she doesn't really have breasts. She doesn't even have a body because, you know, it's fucking disgust. Like, why would I give her any nudie bits? I will open up Shandi though, from Saints Row. That's the wrong Shandi. Hold on. Open. It should say Shandi UE. That's the one I was working on. Oh, wow. Yeah, I gotta delete this. I forgot. I remade her hair a couple times because this is a rip model from the game I downloaded on the internet, and I was not happy with everything, but most of it was fine. Like, this looks good. It's just the body was a little... Oh, is the lighting really like that? My bad. Actually, no, let's not do that one. Let's do a black body. That way you guys could see what's going on. Do that a second to boot up. Boom. Okay. So areas like this, and you see her top, towards the edges, it pinches, and then it goes down. So if I was to recreate this effect, it seems like it would be difficult, but it's really, really easy, and I'll show you guys how. So if you want to do something similar to that on your own character, and go ahead and click her just so you can see how the shape key works. Yes, it is a little NSFW. It's whatever. This ain't that big a deal. But you can see what I did is I just pushed it up a little just so it's actually like interacting with the clothes. If you wanted to make your own, just zero these out and then make a new one. Again, put your character in rest so everything is symmetrized and nice and good. I don't know why Disgust was not symmetrized. I'll go back and snap her to symmetry and try to show you guys how to do that. Now to get the puff effect, you can see on her body, it's just this area that's modeled. There's nothing under there. Again, I did not make this model. This came from the game. I just retopoed it a slight bit just so I could subdivide it without it like freaking out. Now if I want to make this go up, I would just use the inflate brush, man, because the inflate is the easiest method. You can see I could just inflate the whole fucking thing. In general, like, I'm just blowing it the fuck up. And now it goes outside the match, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't really do anything that important. Now, I grab the edges, and you see why I'm grabbing the edges, is we're going to remove them, just like that blend from shape thing. And then her body has an edge going down the center. If I were to grab that and then follow the trail down to the bottom here, probably go inside and grab it on the other side. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All the way down. And then when you do blend from shape and unadd it, it should suck it all back down into the clothes. See that? You can see it needs a little smoothing. So you might want to increase the distance. So to do that, you just go select more or less, and I can do more. Now if you have a number pad, you can press Control plus or minus to do that, but I do not have a number pad, so I have to do it that way. You can see you could suck it down even more. Now after you do that, obviously this isn't enough to really complete it, but what I like to do is use weight painting from there. So after I remove that, I like to add a group, add that to the group, assign the entire thing so its default is on, and then I could smooth it out and remove it. So as I'm painting here, you can see I can do like strength real low, and then come in and then just start sucking it back in. See, it's pretty simple. And then from there, I use the smooth brush to try to straighten this out. Maybe a little stronger. Hopefully this doesn't get flagged as NSFW. I don't really do anything that crazy, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, suck it up. Cool. And you can see, like, you just gotta spend some time on it. And then when you're done, those areas that have the big issues, Um, it depends what you want to do with it. So like obviously you can go and smooth it. If I'm using the smoothing brush, I like to just tap like towards the edge, so like I'm at the very tip. Then I just go and attack it like that. You can see that seems to work the best. Areas like this where it needs to be a little flattened out, the smooth brush sounds like the right one, but scrape fill seems to work better sometimes. So if you scrape it, like if I scrape this area here, you see that pushes it down. See that? And then I can smooth it down the center. And then you could always go in and remove it again. So like if there's areas you weren't happy with, like this, you can come in and remove it from blend from shape to tighten it and then re-smooth it. Depending on what you're trying to do, you get the idea. Obviously, it's not easy, but it's, you know, it's simple. I like it. I find it a very entertaining way to try to smooth these out. And then there's a few brushes that I like to mix with it. I had to make a new layout, so it shows me my brushes. Again, I don't know why that happens, but it happens. There's a few of these too. Cloth brushes could be really handy for like chess schools because you can see you can blow them up and it creates like this wrinkling effect, which can add realism and stuff. But obviously that's not for everybody. You know, like sometimes you don't want the boobs to be too wobbly. Sometimes you want them to be like nice and smooth. You know, like this one. You see, I painted that real smooth up here. It's this one right here. I didn't name them. I probably should have done that. But you see what I mean by the edges are just tucked. That's all that's going on here is I'm shoving these under and I'm removing the areas I inflated. That way it looks a little more realistic. Now for symmetry, if your symmetry breaks, there's a trick. This character should be symmetrized, so I'm going to go back to discuss because I don't believe she is. And then when I hit edit mode on her body, sorry, I keep grabbing shit. Didn't mean to grab that. You press 1 to go into vertex edit. It's this mode with the little vertices. And then back on your base mesh, which this can break shape keys, so I would duplicate your character before you do this in case it does break your shape keys. Now, it doesn't make shape keys incompatible. This doesn't break the vertex count at all. So don't worry about that, but it will break shape keys sometimes. So I always dupe the character before I snap them to symmetry in case it does. And then the option is called snap too. And you see it started mirroring. And every time you repeat it, it'll mirror more and more. So if I open the list, you see as you did it over and over, you get more and more vertices mirrored. Now this is completely mirrored. Now if I go in here into edit mode and move these, you see that it works perfect. The mirror is acting just like it should. Now if I go back before I went and did that, and I were to try editing it with X symmetry, I don't think we're going to get as lucky. Yeah, we didn't. I'm positive it's not grabbing that other side. And if it is, it's going to be a little bit off sometimes. Let's do like this. Oh no, that's pretty good. Yeah, usually it's pretty bad when you do this. Sometimes you get lucky. Like I got some old videos where the mirroring just did not work at all until I did it. Maybe in the newer version of the Blender it's gotten better, but if you really need to snap it back so that it's perfectly centered, that's how you do that. Of course, you know about the cursor. If you need to move something, like you see this little ball, this is for interacting with the couch over there to create this indentation and all that. If I wanted her over there to follow it, I can always grab her and move her there. So if I said like this, and then you got your cursor, or if I said, oh, go over there, you can just tell her to go there without having to really move her. Like, I mean, people do this too. You can do it whichever way you want, but I'm lazy, so I use the cursor as much as I can. And that's about it. I mean, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Like, really, sculpting is my favorite thing in Blender. And I feel like it's the easiest thing to do in Blender, too, if you're, like, mixing it with weights and stuff. And then these little sliders are just... These are just, I believe, 0 to 1 drivers. So, like, if you had a shape key and you wanted to drive it, say, for example, if I were to click her face and then right-click one of these, go to the driver's editor, bam, bam, and now it'll show all of her shape keys. So you can see each one of these are tied to a bone. So you can see this is made by Faceit. Now, I did not rig this character. This came from Open3D Lab. They use Faceit, but you see that if the object is the control rig. The control rig it's talking about is this little board here. This is literally just a mesh. I'm not even kidding. Like if I go into edit mode, you see these are models These are technically models. But these are all models too. Like this is a fucking rectangle. That's a circle. Excuse my language, but see what I mean? Pretty simple. And then you just need to tell it which side goes to which. So if I say click her, go back to the driver editor, you see that it says bone, the bone you want to control it, and then you could say the location or rotation is what controls it. And then for the space, just put local space, and then it's really easy to edit. If you go to modifiers, you can see they all get one modifier and expand polynomial. This will control the intensity of it. So you can always play around with that. You can also restrict it if you want to. There's another modifier to control the intensity of it too, called generator. Not generator, my bad. We already had that. Envelope. So you could set like a min and max and all that. Especially if you're like mixing shape keys, you got two keys that go together. So like they call them deltas. Like say if you move part of the key up, what did it say? Oh yeah, this thing is in rest position. That's why. There we go. So if you were to grab a bone like this and then move it up and down, it's triggering a third shape key up here to keep it from clipping. So that's what you call a shape key delta. And those need to trigger in between keys. So like if you had two shape keys, you'd want it to trigger at 50%, like 0.5 between one key and the other. But you get the idea. I mean, this is pretty easy stuff. There's nothing complicated here. Just do what you want to do. If you have trouble, try to smooth it. If you can't smooth it, try to weight paint it. If you can't weight paint it, blend from shape. And most of the time, blend from shape works fine for things. Like, I don't always have to paint everything, but I'm pretty lazy. Weight painting's easier. So you guys have a good day. I will see you guys later. I will probably make another video in like 5 or 6 months. So I'll see you guys on my birthday. Bye-bye.